Hello everyone, my name is Decker Link, the trained unprofessional. That is Fallout 4 behind me, and welcome back to Major Minor! On the last episode, we were rescued by Sam! Sam! Not Samantha, not Samuel, just Sam. Only Sam. Bree is playing Fallout 4 behind me. Say hi, Bree.
Hello!
That's not what I told you to say.
You said... Oh, I get the joke. Oh, I fucked it! I fucked it up!
So let us continue with this game. The first thing I notice is more cell doors. Like we're in some sort of prison block. Could this really be Lord Player's residence? I notice Sam isn't too far away, so I inch towards her. Took you long enough. Not like our lives are on the line. She crosses her arms and taps her foot. Excuse me for not giving her my unconditional trust. There are some questions I'd like to have answered. I already told you, my name is Sam. Just stick to my side and you won't die. I'm being paid to keep you alive, remember? We can part ways when I deliver you. Trust me, I'm not enjoying this either. But I couldn't turn down a bonus like that. That was one of my main questions, actually. Who was paying her to secure my safety? And did she end up rescuing Kaylin from these cells? Sorry, Kaylin was nowhere to be found. And you mean you don't know who paid me? You must be more oblivious than I thought. Does the name Righty ring a bell? He gave me quite a generous offer. Normally I'd refuse, but not this time. I got offers from other people as well, and Damien and Conrad, their names were. You seem quite popular on Terra, William. But money talks, and they were too quiet. I had to take Righty's offer in the end. I'm told that you two go back quite a little bit. So, I guess Righty went through with his attack. But I guess it's easier to do with a team. I take this as confirmation that we're in Player's home. Yeah, he shouldn't be too far away. Well, but when I deliver you to him, I'm out of here. I'll be set for life after all of this. She gestures broadly to all the open doors. I have no idea why he held prisoners, but Ryder paid a bonus for their lives. It won't be long before they expose Player. After a few moments of walking, we reach a large door. I can only assume that this is the exit. Ryder should be just out of this door. Sadly, I can't get involved any further. I'll find our way out somewhere else. But trust me, we'll meet again. And maybe we can have more fun. Sam runs off, brushing my shoulder on the way out. I'm left alone with a large door in front of me. Could I trust her? What if this was a trap? I look behind me, and she's already gone. I guess I don't have any other option. I open the door, and hope Righty awaits me. I suppose we'll go find out. Yes, I'd like to save my goddamn game. Why with all the save points all of a sudden? Well, this doesn't look welcoming. I immediately notice how large this cellar is. Player and Righty have had a massive operation at play. It's wet and humid down here, not cared for. I want to sneeze. I don't want to sneeze, but I gotta. It's gonna happen whether I like it or not, it's just a matter of when. I took a few steps around and scanned the area. Didn't Sam say that Righty would be here? I look everywhere, but I couldn't find him at all. Hey! Oh, nah. How do you not notice this gigantic hunk of man? Sorry. And just like the cellar, he pops up behind me. It doesn't scare me as much, but my heart still pounds. I don't think you could have picked a worse time.
Oh, I frightened you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to tread lightly in here.
He looks behind me as if expecting to see someone.
Was Kilo back there by chance? He disappeared around the same time as you.
I gulp before I break the news to Righty. I let him know that Kilo passed away last night. He was involved in a tragedy back on Earth.
I see. That is most unfortunate. He was a very bright soul, you know.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
It's hard to find that in this bleak world.
I better not tell him that it was my choosing. In fact, I should probably not tell anybody that.
Wait a minute. Back on Earth? Am I to believe that he left Terra?
I nod.
But that's impossible, William. Our connection doesn't work that way.
I swear that I'm telling him the truth. Before I woke up in a cell, I went back as well.
That's a pretty tall tale. But it would explain the king's interest. There's more to you than I thought. Second thought, shock.
I'm glad he approves.
Righty approved, Belch.
Terra squeaking.
Terror squeaking, yes! It's the assassin from the Assassin's Creed movie. What a shit show that was, I'd tell you.
I haven't seen it. He crosses his arms, losing himself in thought.
You must have seen Sam, right? I hired her to help me out today. She was supposed to rescue any prisoners. But there was just too many. Or so many. Who the fuck is reading this? This bullshit. Get better, voice actor. I didn't know Player was capable of this. His hatred truly knows no bounds.
Sam saved me before she left the manor, yeah. And I should probably tell Riley the truth. It isn't Lord Player behind this, it's Riley. At least he's been the one pulling the strings. Before I can, we hear a crashing noise. It sounds like it's coming from upstairs. I look to Riley and ask what we should do.
We need to investigate. I think Player already has Kalen. He wasn't in any of the cells.
Just like Sam mentioned, that worries me.
We can do this, William. Together we can go because the motherfucker. Hang.
Together we're going to expose the king. He hands me a sword. I don't know what to do with it. I really hope he wasn't expecting me to fight. They always say that. They always fucking say that. The art of swordplay has been lost on Earth. Before I can say anything else, he runs off. I follow him to the best of my ability, and it isn't very long until we get upstairs. Oh shit, we in the main place. We in the lobby. I'm baffled by how large this place really is. It's a stunning counterpoint to the Wayfarer's Tavern, and for that matter, the society I saw before. Is this really what the upper class was like here? Calling it a mansion would be an understatement. It's a veritable labyrinth and showcase of wealth. We turn corners until we arrive at a large atrium. I suppose that we're tracking down the noise we heard. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. There we go again. And sure enough, it's Endymion and Conrad. They immediately turn to us, drawing their weapons.
Righty, hand over the savior. I don't want to fight you today. I'm afraid I can't do that. We're here to rescue Kalen. After today, Velasquez is exposed. You just won't give up, will you? That's a terrible way to read that line. You just won't give up, will you? There's nothing you need to expose.
Endymion draws his daggers and lunges towards Righty. Righty quickly weaves to the side and punches his gut. Endymion stumbles backwards, winded. A lucky hit.
You need to stop being so blind! The king wanted Kalen imprisoned! If I don't save him, he'll die! Lord Player is a relentless killer! There's no way Kalen could escape!
Righty draws his axe and holds it forward. This is very similar to the battle music from Kingdom Hearts! Holy shit, this game's a huge ripoff! Motherfucker!
Help me take down Player and rescue Kalen! If you don't, then you're our enemy! What do you mean, our enemy? The Savior's on our side, you know!
Endymion takes a fighting stance, looking at me.
It's not true, Endymion. William chose to side with me yesterday. Even he saw through Velasquez's facade. Spouting lies as usual. You'll do anything to get your way. But not this time, Righty.
He lunges towards Righty once again, but this time I take action. I jump in his way and hold out my sword. Endymion stops in his tracks, dangerously close. Don't tell me it's true. We went through so much for you. I tell Endymion that he's overthinking things. Siding with Righty was safer than rushing to the king. I had no idea what he wanted with me, but it was scary. But rescuing Kalen would reveal the king's intent. If the king was truly evil, I'd stay away. But if he wasn't, then we could venture to him safely. Saving Kalen was more like flipping a coin to me. better than rushing in against unfathomable odds. I came from another world, and I couldn't be sure. I needed to know Velasquez's true nature first. If our situations were reversed, he'd do the same! This seems like a good enough explanation for him. He sheathes his daggers and assumes a neutral stance. Very well. I trust you. But we don't have time to rescue Kalen.
Like hell you don't! Taking down player is what you wanted! Helping me will accomplish that too!
This is where I decide to tell them the truth. Lord Player wasn't behind all of this, it was Riley. He played the role of an advisor and controlled him. Wait a minute. Oh, that was a good one.
What? Are you serious?
But we saw the bloody drags. We know Lord Player attacked you. That's why we came here to begin with. Before I can continue, we hear a noise upstairs. As if on cue, Riley enters the scene. Oh, good God. You couldn't have updated that drawing before you published the game? What the heck? His hand looks like a fucking... Like a fucking... I don't even know what that looks... Yeah, little claw man. Don't look at me like that. Oh, she's doing the thing. She's doing the... I'm not. I'm just saying.
Me? Uncivilized?
Me?
With my weird hand?
I swear to God, if you speak in such a hard tone to me one more time, I shall have you flogged!
I hit you with my weird hand!
Imagine that's how he attacks. I'm surprised you didn't see it, Endymion. You work for the fake evidence what the fuck? You work with fake evidence all the time. But let's get things moving, shall we? I'm tired of your endless bickering. He turns around and grabs something from behind him. Or, wait, he grabs someone from behind him. Endymion and Righty immediately take a fighting stance. This must be Kalen. You can't put aside your differences, not even when lives are on the line. Kalen squirms in his grasp, clearly overpowered. Riley holds him still and places a knife to his throat. You all think that you have won, but you couldn't be more wrong. Soon this entire building will burn. There won't be any proof left behind, and I'll hunt down the prisoners you've saved, just as soon as I slit Kalen's throat. But not here. I have a plan. Come and chat with me and Lord Player. One last chance to resolve things. No matter what, there will be death, and the outcome will decide our election. Today, the throne will be secured. He slowly backs out of the room, holding his hostage. I look at everyone beside me, and I'm not sure what to do. Oh, Jesus, God, why the belching?
So it's true.
It really is the one behind this. They both look at me.
Thank you for telling us the truth.
Yeah, otherwise he might have killed Player. I shrug and tell him it's not relevant anymore. No matter who's in charge, we have a decision to make.
Should we go after Riley?
Or is this some kind of trap? They both cross their arms and ponder in unison. I notice that even Conrad is staying out of this. Are they working together? I never thought I'd see that.
We have to play the odds, Endymion.
What do you mean?
We can follow after Riley. If we do, there's a chance Kalen will live. But if we assume that's a trap and leave, well, Kalen will die for sure.
If I do this, will you hand me the Savior? Is that how much Kalen means to you? Riley pauses and then looks at me. That's Righty. I'm sorry. They're very similar looking names. I'm sorry. It's odd how Endymion didn't even ask my opinion.
You ask too much of me, Endymion. William chose to come with me freely.
Righty, you're making a mistake. The fate of Terra is at stake here. That's far more than the fate of Kalen. Please, let the Savior come with me. This will save both Kalen and Terra. Saving Kalen is useless on its own. I will help you if you give me the Savior. Otherwise, I will take them by force. This will kill both you and Kalen. Endymion returns to a fighting stance. God damn it! Do I truly mean that much to him and Conrad?
Endymion, you know what I do for a living. I protect the lives of others. To that end, you have me at an impasse. If I fight, you two would kill me. Then, you'd take the Savior away. This would leave Kalen to his doom. But if I give you the Savior, everybody has a chance to live. You should become a politician, you know. You're great at screwing people over, making them go against their values.
Endymion changes the subject, choosing not to respond. Very politician-y. I feel like I'm just some sort of commodity now. But to be honest, anywhere is safer than here. So if saving everyone means leaving Righty, that's okay. A temporary alliance, then.
A temporary alliance.
They shake hands, but both parties seem hesitant, as if physical contact between them is uncomfortable. They fucked! They fucked! They fucked hard! Oh my god, they fucked so hard!
Cut it with a knife!
Oh my god, Maggle! Maggle! We tried working together once, Righty. Let's hope it ends better than this. Fuck me!
Okay.
Let's hope it ends up better this time. So just like that, I'm back with Endymion and Conrad. I can't say I'm surprised, after all. The mission I sided with Righty would have been Am I stupid or what? No, it's definitely not for or what. It's stupid. The mission I sided with Righty for would be completed. Kalen would be freed, and I'd know Velasquez's intent. If his intent was evil, Kalen would testify. But if it wasn't, then I'd gladly help him. It seems like all the bases are finally covered. They start walking up the stairs, full of purpose. I turn to Conrad, who still seems to be processing this. So what? I'm the third wheel now? They couldn't have picked a better time. He growls before he follows suit. So many buckles! Why? Why with the buckles? Final Fantasy bullshit! Soon enough, we're all ascending the stairs. When we reach the top, we notice the doors open. We all stare at each other, exchanging reassuring nods. In this moment, we are united. Our goal was clear. And with that resolve, we venture forward. As soon as we enter the room, we separate. We all stand in a line, facing towards Riley and Blair. But it seems like they made a quick switch. Blair now holds Kalen hostage, and Riley, Kaboo. I examine their faces and notice a disparity. Riley seems calm and collected, completely unfazed, but Blair looks around in a panic, fidgeting awkwardly. Riley's leadership was now more apparent than ever.
Riley, what do you want? You're cornered, and there's more of us.
I want to I want to secure the throne, Endymion. That's all I've ever wanted.
That is something you can never do. You need to give up before it's too late. Riley, we can negotiate for your life. Killing you and Blair isn't our goal. We only ever wanted to end your campaign. Just give up and you can still live.
I'm afraid it's too late for that. All of our prisoners are already freed. It won't be long before they start talking. And after that, they'll want vengeance. Living in fear isn't living at all. We would never truly be safe from harm. But it's good to know you're not hiding. We were sick of pretending not to know. It's so obvious that you belong to the king.
This works in your favor, Riley. We can have him make a public statement. He'll announce your innocence to everyone. He would gladly make a statement like that, especially if you surrendered your campaign. At that point, you'd be free men.
Notice that Blair has calmed down by now. It seems that he likes what he's hearing. Riley, on the other hand, seems surprised. You really think you can do that?
Of course, it would be simple.
But we want protection, too. A place to stay, guarded at all times.
Don't press your luck, Riley.
It's you who shouldn't be pressing. He presses his blade up to...
pressing! I get it! It's a pun!
It's also lethal with a knife! Blade to Kaboo's throat, smirking.
Fine, but you two have to stand down. That includes handing over Kalen and Kaboo.
Blair and Riley exchange glances before nodding. We have to do this my way, Endymion. You can come get Kaboo from me directly, slowly and with no sudden movements. And after that, Conrad can get Kalen. And then you'll escort us all to a safe place. I need to ensure that you're not lying. We'll be at the back of the group. No one can be behind us. I know the true nature of you two. This is not good! Endymion and Conrad exchange glances this time. Conrad looks worried, but Endymion looks confident. It was complicated, but this might all end peacefully. It's not! It's not! It's not! No, it's not. No, it's not good. I'm going to walk towards you now. I'll raise my arms so I can't attack. When I get there, you hand over Kalen. Riley nods and Endymion starts his walk. Riley looks on, unsure of what... Oh, Righty looks on, unsure of what to think. Look, you see the names right next to each other. Look, that shit looks... It's not my fault. But if things went awry... That's a fun word. It looks...
Oh, God.
It looks like awry, but it's awry. I'm sure he'd attack. Slower, Endymion. There's no need to move so fast. He obeys instantly, almost like a puppet. Riley watches in fright as the assassin approaches him. I can see Conrad grip his sword just in case. Kaboo and Kalen, everything will be okay. I promise this won't last much longer. He reassures the two hostages as he arrives. After a few moments, he's face to face with Riley. You must stay true to your word, Riley. I'm going to take Kaboo and walk back. Of course, I wouldn't dream of crossing you. But before you go, can I say one thing? Make it quick. Riley clears his throat before speaking. It echoes through the large hall. Oh shit. You should have never trusted a politician. We're all dirty, especially King Velasquez. Or should I say, my true employer. What? Again with the lies! Everybody lies! Everything... Hands up if you lie. It's a paw, it doesn't count. No! She raised her hand. No!
I lie all the time.
You're lying right now.
I'm gonna run you over with this car.
Oh, Jesus.
Vroom.
Endymion looks shocked, unable to move. Did Riley just say Velasquez was his boss? This must go deeper than any of us thought. Riley uses this momentary confusion to make his move. He runs his blade along Kaboo's throat effortlessly. Oh, God, no! He swims and falls to the ground in a puddle of blood.
Riley, you bastard!
You killed Kaboo! Kenny!
Ah, Jesus. He reaches for his daggers, but he's not fast enough. Riley punches the knife into his gut multiple times. Holy shit! After the final stab, he twists the knife around. Jesus! Endymion falls to the ground, making the puddle larger. Riley stands there with a sadistic grin, laughing.
Endymion! No!
Conrad lunges forward, but Righty intercepts him. He holds Conrad in place, stopping his attack. The player looks horrified, staring at Kaboo's body. But his grip against Kalen tightens. He's panicking. Riley walks over to his pawn, still laughing loudly. Do it, player. Kill Kalen. He's the biggest thorn in our side. If you do it, we'll be unstoppable. Player gulps audibly, his body shaking.
Blair, don't do this!
Righty interjects, still holding Conrad tightly.
It's not too late to become a free man! Riley has been using you all along! There isn't any real proof of your crimes! But if you kill Kalen, I can't help you. There will be witnesses to your crime. Do the right thing here and surrender! I'm against Velasquez as well, you know. So I'm not acting in a way that helps him. I want to help you and save Kalen!
Player, we've come too far to back out. Everything we worked for is on the line. I order you to kill Kalen right now! Player looks at Riley and then at Kaboo's lifeless body. He presses the knife harder against Kalen's throat, any harder, and he'd start to draw blood. right about that, Riley. Everything is on the line now. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, Kaylin. He closes his eyes before using the blade, almost like he can't attach himself to his actions. He adds a third victim to the floor, and more blood. Oh my god, people are dropping like flies! Oh! Oh! But it isn't Kaylin's blood, it's Riley's! Oh shit! Oh shit! Huh! What the hell? He grabs his throat and squirms in pain. Player looks at what he's done, horrified. Kaylin uses this opportunity to break free. He runs towards Riley, gaining his freedom. As he sees this, he releases his grip on Conrad. Endymion! He immediately runs towards Endymion's body. He cradles him in his arms, shaking him softly. This isn't funny, Endymion! Wake up! Claire runs to Kaboo's body and holds it close. With the violence gone, they cry over their losses. Riley, Kaylin, and I stare on in shock. I'm sorry, my son. What the fuck? What the fuck? But it isn't over yet. Before any of us can speak, we get visitors. They enter the room from the back, as if they watched. Oh, fuck me, it's these two motherfuckers. Great, great. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. Okay, time for the weird voice shit to come back.
So this is what the revolution looks like. Pathetic. Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you fucking agree? Who the hell does this shit? Who watches this? Who the fuck would listen to this bullshit? Wouldn't you agree? Not too hard to say. Yes, Nagi, I agree. Their hurts over such small losses. These men meant nothing in the grand scheme. But I'm thankful they've become violent. It helped me test out my little theory. Father's been deceitful yet again. Big surprise.
And they switched. They switched. Very weird. They stare at all of us with sly smirks. Who are these people, and why were they watching? The man, or Nagi, starts to walk towards me.
So you're the man that Father wants. I have to say I'm surprised. I expected something different.
I immediately hold out my sword. I've never used it before, so I mimic what I've seen. There's no way I could defend myself against him.
Don't be so stupid, Savior. I just want to get a closer look.
I back up in time with his steps. There's no way I want this guy to get close to me. Riley stands forward and holds out his axe. He's leaving Kaylin's defense to come to mine? Hey.
Well, at least there's someone my size. But it's useless. You can't stop me.
Riley takes this as a challenge and leaps forward, but I find it very hard to explain what happens next. As if he teleported, Nami blocks his way. She extends an arm and punches Riley across the room. He hits the wall with a thud and falls to the floor. He's motionless, knocked out cold. This leaves me and Kaylin alone and defenseless.
Thanks, my love. He was starting to get on my nerves.
He continues walking toward me. I try to back up further, but I hit a wall. He grins at me, knowing I can't go anywhere.
Do you have any idea what you are? Do you have any idea of what's inside of you?
A dick!
A dick, a big dick.
Big old fat dick is inside of you. I'm jealous.
Hey now. I make eye contact with Kaylin. I can tell he wants to help, but it's pointless. Anyone who can take out Riley is just too powerful. I give up and try to run, but it's useless. Nami appears by my side and pins me to the wall. Nagi holds out his sword and approaches me.
Father tried to trick us. The power that he wants isn't within Terra. For some reason, it's within you.
Before I can even think, I'm skewered on his blade. He stabs it deep into the wall, pinning me in place. Holy shit! My body lights up in pain as I start to bleed out. Well, this isn't the good ending. He twists the blade inside of me, intensifying the pain. The gear on the base of his sword starts to turn. I can feel myself becoming weaker. I'm dying.
Looks like we won the race, Nami. I didn't think it would be that easy. Anything to say before I unleash this? Here's to the future we create. Yes, to the future we create.
He pushes the blade deeper and the gear spins faster. I can feel it. It's draining me of my very essence. They give me such terrifying grins. I have to look away. Moments later, my vision fades into nothingness. The last thing I hear is Blair and Conrad's cries. They weep over the family they will never see again. For on that day, they became only memories. Oh, the fucking achievement's called Ballroom Blitz? Are you shitting me? That was a great song! And you're gonna drag that in. Why in every game I have to die? Every game. Blackgate, this one, that's it, really? But that's 2. What? We're in a mall now? I smile as I run down the halls of the local mall. Every day that passed, my odds got even better. The Popstar contest had become a worldwide phenomenon. Oh, it's a flashback. Back when all this was just a contest to meet your favorite pop star. Christ, it's even got the sentimental piano music. The Popstar contest has become a worldwide phenomenon. Stocks rose and stores sold out. Everyone wanted to win. I tried not to think too much, or drink too much, but it was addicting. Not only the caffeine, but the prize that awaited. Everybody wanted to live a life of luxury like that. We all had worries that we just wanted to melt away. There were so many stores I could choose from, but I had a local joint that I liked to stick to. It didn't get much business, and I thought that'd help. I suppose that's something like a gambler's hope. The less used machine will pay out more, right? At least that's what I told myself every single day. Nobody had won yet. Both cans were still in the wild. I turn a few corners and end up at my favorite store. The clerk greets me as usual, and I walk inside. I notice a new addition. They have some TVs on the wall. Some sort of news report about the contest was airing. You really couldn't go a minute without hearing of it. It's not often that the whole world unites like this. Oh! What the hell? I walked a little deeper into the store. For some reason, I looked away just as that was happening. I sort of saw. For some reason, they kept the cooler in the back. Maybe it was to tempt me with other choices first. Oh, Jesus. I wonder who I'd meet if I won. I'm sure that people are running the tour would be awesome. At least I hope that was the case. Some people can be all business and no pleasure. Oh, Jesus. But I'm sure Cleese would be great, at least. You hear all kinds of things on the news. He was young and had a long career ahead of himself. Oh, Jesus. But let's not forget about the other people, about the people behind the scenes. There were those that no one even knew about. Not everybody liked the limelight, after all. Oh, Jesus. A slight pain starts radiating in my head. I hate headaches. I've been getting them a lot lately. I do my best to push it aside as I arrive at the cooler. Oh, no flashback on that one. Flashback within a flashback. Bwom. But when I get there, I notice that they're all sold out. Did somebody come and buy out their supply? I quickly turn around and walk back to the clerk. It's extremely unusual that this place would sell out. I decide to talk to them and ask them what's going on. The clerk shrugs and says they have lots. He just tells me I've overlooked them. That's weird. I'm not the type to do that. The headaches get more intense and I stumble. I press myself against the counter for support. The clerk asks if I'm okay, and I signal that I'm fine. Look at the TV once again. The report has changed. Now they're talking about murders or something. It's a shame, but that's the kind of world we live in. Maybe we're using this contest to mask our flaws. I decide to give it a shot and check the cooler again. I'm not expecting anything, so I have nothing to lose. Before I can get there, the pain returns. I take a moment to brace myself, holding onto a shelf. It gets worse, despite all of my coping techniques. I try to call out for help, but no one comes to my aid. And just like that, my body gives up. My hand slips from the shelf and I fall to the ground. My head crashes harshly against the linoleum floor. I expect to be knocked out, but that's not what happens. It's like the fall flipped a switch in my mind. It's at that moment that I remember everything. Super fast! Oh, Jesus! I immediately rise to my feet and clutch my chest. I fully expect a blade to be stabbed through my body. I pant heavily before realizing that I'm fine. But I still rest against a shelf, utterly confused. Why was I here before I won the contest? Who were those people that attacked us? What happened to everybody in that ballroom? How could I get back to help them? I'd have to win the contest, wouldn't I? But the store's all sold out. I could have sworn that this is where I won. After that thought, one last memory returns to me. I check my pocket, and sure enough, there it is. The replica can that Singe gave me in our meeting. I gulp audibly and look at the back at the clerk and like the clerk's direction. For all intents and purposes, this was a winning can. I don't really have a choice. I'd have to use this. It's the only way I could get back and try again. Perhaps this time things would be different. I walk back and laugh, telling the clerk he was right. He rings through the purchase and I pay him promptly. I leave the store, certain of one single fact. This was how I won my place in Clace's World Tour. Chapter 8, The Lives We Live. I'm jolted awake and I cry out for help. But I quickly realize that this was an overreaction. I pant heavily and my body uncontrollably shivers. I'm covered in a layer of sweat that feels like ice. Hey, it's okay, you're safe now. Take this, it should help you out. He must have noticed my shivering. He places a blanket over on my shoulders. I wrap it around my body tightly and look up at him. I ask him what just happened and where we were. You were thrashing about in your sleep. You passed out after the bombing incident.
Hey, popsicle, passed out.
I passed out, shot and missed. Yeah, popsicle.
I wasn't sure how long you'd be out. As you can see, we left the building. We're in an underground bunker now. You can rest easy, we're safe. He takes a deep breath and it's finally all over. He leans back in his chair, giving me a slight smile. So I was thrashing about in my sleep? Was that whole thing just a dream then? We have lots to talk about, you know. So much has happened and all so fast. I shift my body around and rest my feet on the floor. This whole place smells stiff and uncared for. Almost like the prison back at Player's house. The events of the ballroom play back in my mind. Conrad lost Endymion, and Player lost Kaboo. I wish there was something I could have done. Akron must sense the sorrow in my face. He places a paw on my shoulder and comforts me. It's okay, I know what you're feeling. We're more alike than you think. I laugh softly, instantly doubting him. I don't think he has the same weight on his shoulders. Life is full of hardships like this. But one thing is the same, no matter what. We all have regrets when we overcome them. Mine would be my lack of honesty. Towards you and everyone here. But at the same time, it was necessary. Lack of honesty? What do you mean by that? I don't even know where to start, but please let me finish my story. It's important that you know everything. I believe that you've met Ryo before, and I believe that you've been to the Ark. There are a couple things we have in common. Those were the last things I expected him to say. I stare at him in sheer confusion, speechless. Perhaps his story goes deeper than I thought. He granted me a portion of his power, the ability to slow or stop time's flow, and with that, he gave me an objective. I was supposed to protect all of you. It's everyone inside the convention center. It seemed like an easy enough task, right? But he gave me some opposition. Someone bent on killing all of you. Maxine Armstrong. Yeah, I'm sure you figured it out. It was the arms heiress visiting Japan, or should I say, my sister. My true name is Akron Armstrong, youngest in the Armstrong family line, but I've long since abandoned that name. He continues unleashing revelations. More of the puzzle pieces fall into place. Things were more connected than I ever could have guessed. Ryo pitted sibling against sibling, one to protect and one to kill. The forces of life and death in our hands. He turned it into some sort of contest. If any were left standing, I would win. But if everyone died, Max was the victor. The prize was the Ark itself. We would get to rule as an immortal being. Life and death would cater to our whims. So this was a game to Max. If she won, she could undo the deaths. That and bring back our sister. I remember Ryo telling me about this. He said that he wanted a worthy successor, but he never mentioned Akron to me at all. I was under the assumption that it was only Max. I hope that things are making more sense. That was the true nature of what happened, the truth behind the convention center. So this was all just a battle to rule over the Ark, and we all got caught up in because of my role. Ryo said he had to watch me as well as the contest. But why would Ryo want to leave the Ark? He said he was bored and lonely, but that can't be it. There has to be some more to the story than we know. Either way, the battle is over. Max can't get to any of you down here. In a few hours, I will rule the Ark. He lets out a soft grin. Max relied far too much on her power. But I only ever used it twice myself. Once to plant my resume in Jade's office, and the second time for the evacuation. Max was extremely eager to compete with me. She took care of the previous guard. I needed to enter the tour naturally. But after that, it was child's play. I know how she works better than anyone. Pushing her buttons was incredibly easy. I asked him why he's so sure of his victory. If Max had the power, there was still a chance. No, there's no chance. We were playing her right from the start. She fell into our trap far too easily. Our trap? What did you mean by that? I was only open with one other person. It was Singe. He knows everything. I even told him of the Ark and our powers. We formulated a plan together. He's a genius, to say the least. That, and a very talented actor. Huh. Singe is involved now, too? I feel like after this, I won't have any questions. I fucking bet, bitch! I'm confused! Max planned all along to involve weapons. It was very easy for us to exploit this. Initially, Singe fought back against her. We needed Max to feel like she had power. It made it more believable when he caved. At that point, she was getting cocky. Her staff loaded the building with weapons, everything was going her way. She went on to kill Clace, then she took care of the previous guard. That's when I entered the scene. The contest would last for one whole day. Midnight tonight will be the battle's end. It was important that we remain passive. Singe started to play a frightened role. No sudden movements, he'd say. We needed Max to believe that she was winning. That's why... He looks away from me before continuing. That's why we let Rocker and Keeler die. It needed to look like I was failing. This made Max even more confident. Tensions rose in the convention center, tensions that made me seem inadequate. People were fighting amongst themselves. They wanted to leave, but they couldn't. Singe was still playing his part. Max was clearly winning. It was obvious. So it was my turn to act. I pretended that my resolve was wavering. These people were dying on my watch. How could I ever guard anyone again? I put on quite the show for all of you. I even acted at the press conference, too. I still feel bad for that outburst. But it was important to showcase out. Max had what she wanted. Singe was completely in her pockets. Her brother wasn't able to outsmart her, and everybody was still in one place. It would be so easy for her to win. That's when I decided to meet up with her. It was all going according to plan. She actually suggested that we team up. That she said we could kill the rest together. But she didn't know I was recording. I got her to admit she was the killer, but she thought she was just converting me. This is extremely smart. Actually, it's almost unbelievable. But one part irks me about all of this. It implies that they willingly sacrificed lives. I'm not proud of what we did either, but it was either them or all of us. I'm sure you know that feeling as well. Either way, we worked with the police. The bomb going off was their signal. Instead of coming in, they set a perimeter. I did agree to work with Max. She believed that she had my allegiance, but I made use of the recording immediately. I gave it to both the media and the police. Maxine Armstrong is completely ruined. Receiving the recording was their signal. After that, they'd attack the building. But everyone except for her would be gone. This whole plan assumed a lot, of course. First, that she would use her weapons, and second, that she would confess to me. But I know how she works, after all. I was certain it would unfold this way. That's why I made them tactical signals. Trust me, she's not winning. If they didn't catch her, she's on the run. She'll lose control of the company as well. I picked that exact time to evacuate. She'd be caught up in saving her own life. There's no way she knows where we are. I believe that's what you call checkmate. Goddamn. The big play. This was crazy, to say the least, but if anyone could do it, it was them. And the fact that we're here confirms it. The strategy involved was unfathomable to me. I was just an unlucky soul caught in the middle. I don't know what your role really is. In fact, I don't even know if Ryo does. But he'll be coming here shortly anyway. He has to take me to the Ark, or should I say, my new home. Perhaps he'll have some answers then. I'd suggest taking a walk around. Everyone is here except for Daz and Singe. They're resting in a separate bunker. I still thought it would be wise to do this. If Max found one of the bunkers, she still wouldn't be able to win. But for the first time, you're safe. I'd enjoy this evening with everybody. Your duty as savior may come soon as well. I nodded and returned to my feet. He was right. Things were coming to a close. I slowly walked towards the exit of the room, but before I can leave, Akron calls to me. I quickly turn back around and look at him. Oh, it was strong enough. Wait, can I keep you for one more minute? There's something that's been on my mind. I take a few steps back towards him. I'm all ears and ask him what he wants to say. Well, it's about the Armstrong name. Why I ran away, why I left it behind. It's more related than you may think. I press my back against the wall and listen. I guess he assumes there's no holding back. If he's about to leave for the Ark, he should talk. Let's see, where should I start? Armstrong was wronged by my parents, that is, until about 5 years ago. They were working on a new chemical weapon, but it was much too much to handle on their own. They had to acquire investors, and fast. The company pockets only went so deep, so they scourged the globe for partners. It didn't take long to get what they needed. They held a meeting for the investors, a chance to show off what they made, potentially to get them more money, too. But it wasn't so simple. Chemicals can be very volatile. I'm sure that, well, you can guess what happened. The weapons went off by accident. Luckily, I was watching from outside. Well, I guess lucky is a relative term. I watched my parents die an agonizing death. They clawed at the glass, begging for help, but there was nothing I could do. Max was beside me as well, shocked. Our older sister had her eyes covered. After this, the family was in disarray. Our older sister was thrust into leadership, but she wasn't trained. None of us were. The whole world had its eyes on us. Some more important people had died that day. We tried our best to cover it all up, but you can't cover up memories. These events affected families everywhere. We weren't the only ones who lost people. It took a while, but we recovered. Business was good, and we traveled lots. Eventually, we ended up in Africa. Our dignitary wanted our services. Some local warlords had threatened them, so the Armstrong siblings went for a visit. He requested our latest weaponry. The chemical weapons were put on hold, so we had to bring some explosives. He was very nice to all of us. He gave us a tour of his massive estate. Then he wanted us to meet his son. I was more than ecstatic to meet him. It's always nice to make strong connections, but the room he took us to was empty. He started crying as he told us the truth. His son had moved to America a while back. He made a fortune investing in companies. One of those companies was Armstrong. He broke down and kept asking us why. Why did we take his son away from him? But none of us knew what to say. The next thing I knew, we were passing out. He must have drugged the meal he gave us. I never would have guessed he had a past like this. He always seemed so calm and collected. I asked him what happened next, and especially how it relates to current events. Well, we were separated when we woke up. I was tied to a chair, and he was there. My oldest sister was tied to a chair too, but she was in a room farther away. This is where it gets familiar. We both had bombs strapped to us. He left the room and told Max to choose. Would he save her brother or her sister? I begged her to let her sister live. She was the head of the company, after all. I was nothing, and didn't matter. The man wanted us to experience his pain, but Max told him that we already did. We lost our whole family in that incident. Unfortunately, he was too far gone. What he wanted was revenge, and we were the only remaining Armstrongs. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? He used the same weapons we brought. We provided him with the means to do this. I begged and I pleaded for my death. It seemed like Max's choice was obvious, but for some reason she wouldn't do it. She let her older sister die. I still remember hearing the bomb. I heard the moment her life was ended. The man came in to free me. As soon as I did, I attacked him. I wanted to kill him, I really did, but he was armed and he was stronger. That's how I got the scar on my face. He marked me with his knife, and so I'd remember. He was never heard from again after that. Max and I ran back to America. She promptly inherited the entire company. A little convenient, wouldn't you say? I think that's what she wanted all along. She took the opportunity to offer our sister. That way she'd get to run the company. But then, did she kill her parents too? Was she responsible for that accident? If she was, she finally got what she wanted. At that point, I decided to run away. But she told me one final thing. One day, you'll know what it felt like. She swore that she caved under pressure. It had nothing to do with inheritance. Her body went into autopilot. But I would never know for sure. At least, that's what I thought. I didn't see her again until this ordeal. And of course, what does she do? She sets up those bombs and makes me watch. I saw the look on your face. The look of fear and indecision. How could you choose between Keela and Rook? It would be even harder if it were family. I think she wanted to send that message. She wanted me to see what it looked like. And it's not a pretty sight at all. But it did nothing to prove her innocence. She's not above killing to inherit. It's what she's doing now for the Ark. And to that end, the message loses validity. I'm still left with this scar. I remember it every time I look at myself. My sister's death and Max's betrayal. I thought you deserved to know. There was a reason you had to choose. It was only to prove a point to me. I'm sorry you had to experience that. But Maxine Armstrong is insane. She killed to take over the company. She killed to had a chance for the Ark. There's nothing she won't do. Now, I don't know why Singe agreed to help, but Armstrong is a heartless company. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a victim. But I'll give you one piece of advice. If you ever see her again, run away. Doing that made my life all the better. He crosses his arms as if he's done talking. I notice a slight glisten in his eyes. You don't need to give me a reaction. It's just something I wanted you to know. You can leave the room as you see fit. I nodded at him, unsure of what to say. I'm satisfied that I'm learning so many things, but I'm crushed at the sorrow he must have felt. One of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to bring back my sister. She'll make this world a better place. And I'm very sorry for lying to you. I hope that you can learn to forgive me. As I said, lack of honesty is my regret. But the whole thing was a setup. I couldn't risk the operation. This time, I was forced to lie. I never would have done it otherwise. He smiles at me with nothing left to hide. Then he returns to his chair, ending the conversation. It's true, he could bring her back if he won. I assume he could do the same for all of the others. It would take a while to process all this information, but at least some of my biggest questions were answered. I leave the room with a sense of satisfaction. And that's the end of this episode. Thank you all very much for watching this episode of Major Minor. On the next one, I guess we will continue to explore this bunker. Why is Rocker on my save? And it looks like if these affection points are what's going by, the person I decided not to blow up is the only person I'm not going to get a cutscene with. So that's fucked up. But anyway, whoa, whitewash. Thank you all very much for watching this episode of Major Minor. On the next one, we will continue to search around and see what the fuck else we're going to be doing and listen to a lot more goddamn explanations. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the trained unprofessional speaking for the voices in my head when I say until next time, fare thee well. Bye, everyone. Was it Bri? Squeak.
Bye.
Squeak for me!
I'm having a boss fight!
Okay, no squeaks allowed in a boss fight. Look. Oh, shit. Bye, everyone.